All right, well, thank you, everybody. So we just want to do a quick media availability to mark Mayor Santos' visit to the United States. He's been hitting a number of cities in the Northeast over the last few days. He's been to Boston. Actually, he missed out on Boston. He had a false start in Boston, going back to Boston. But he's been to Pawtucket, to Brockton, two other cities who, like New Bedford and Boston, have significant Cape Verdean communities. And, this is, I tend to think, obviously I'm biased, but I believe New Bedford is the capital of Cape Verde in America. This is where Cape Verde Islands first connected with the United States, primarily through the whaling vessels that left our shores and stopped in places like the Azores and Cabo Verde and so many other places around the world where New Bedford's name became known. And that's what led to Cape Verde immigration here. It's these kinds of connections that often lead to bigger things in the long run. And you wonder why in a particular place a certain ethnic group found its way and landed and it settled. And in the case of the Cape Verdeans, it started with the whaling ships and then proceeded into the 20th century, at the beginning of the 20th century, with a fairly relatively sizable immigration of Cape Verdeans to the United States, to New Bedford. Some 17,000 Cape Verdeans emigrated to New Bedford in the years between the years 1901 and 1920, and many of them came aboard packet ships like the Ernestina that have continued to inspire us today with their stories. And many of the Cape Verdeans here, many of the Cape Verdeans here in New Bedford trace their past right back to the Ernestina, and much of the Cape Verdean settlement across New England has its foundation in those early years. So I wanted just to welcome you, Mayor, and what's so impressive about what's going on right now in Cape Verde, and people should take notice of this, is that there is tremendous growth going on, especially in Praia, the capital. This is a time in which Cape Verde, the islands, particularly in Santiago and particularly in Praia, are really realizing their full potential. These are beautiful islands in the mid-Atlantic, and now they are seeing a tremendous amount of investment that's creating great jobs for their folks, for their residents, in the hospitality industry in particular. So we're really encouraged by that. I think we just really commend you for your leadership in helping facilitate all that. And and as we know, as sister cities, we want to continue to support your efforts and be there when you need us and to weigh in. So to commemorate your visit, we have a little something for you. So we have in our bag the picture history of New Bedford, which is something that was recently published along with a couple of other tokens of our appreciation. But and there's a tab in the book that about one of the packet ships that came to the city, and we hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mayor. And if you want to say a few words?
Okay, thank you, Mayor, for having me here. That I have a very intense week. I've been around Pawtucket, Brockton, and Boston. This is the last stop, best stop.
Good, there you go. Now you're talking.
As the Mayor said, the city of Praia is growing very fast. There have interesting foreign investments going there. Huge hotels is being built, and which means that in the 4 years times, you're going to have a lot of opportunities. We're a sister city. We want to take again all those operations, especially in the area of security, fire department, and environment, which is good, because the city of Praia is an island, the Cape Verde is an island, very vulnerable to climate change. And if New Bedford could help us, we really appreciate it a lot. And I also want to take all the Cape Verdean that reside in New Bedford to wish them good 4th of July. And I wish they celebrate the 5th of July with Cape Verde in their hearts. And then I encourage them to go back and as a tourist, as a visitor, because we are just very close together. We've been bound for more than 500 years of history. I should go on with that. If we close the relationship, I think we all again with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. No, it definitely bears emphasizing that, this is Cape Verdean Recognition Week. This is when we celebrate our city's contribution, or the Cape Verdean contributions to our city, in particular, and Cape Verdean independence. And just to punctuate the point about investment in Praia, we really want to see, and want for Praia to be seen by Americans as a place where you can go on holiday. There is some wonderful opportunities now to stay in first-rate hotels in the years ahead and enjoy everything that Cape Verde has to offer. So we look forward to that. If there are any questions, MJ, I don't know if you have any questions, or Josh, or anybody, but
I would just like to inform Mayor Santos that, I don't know if he's aware, that the Wedding Museum now has a website in Portuguese, and there's a lot of also connection, also for teaching, so you may want to connect.
it's a good idea.
Good idea, thank you.
Good idea. Do you have anything, Josh? He can't. He'd love to. He's got to make the rounds. He's got to make the most of his time while he's here.
If you leave me your connection, I'll make sure that Mr. Russell gets it.
Yeah. Well, he's going down to the museum anyway. Yeah.
I'll do that.
It's his next stop. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for attending. We really appreciate it, Mayor. Thank you,
Okay,
and
thank you very much.
let us know what we can do to be helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And that's all yours.
Don't forget.
Thanks, everybody.